Okay, so I am doing this video on my channel because I had a dent in my channel where I had gone to a man named Victor Golden's house, and I told you guys that I came to Atlanta to get into a shelter, and I'll explain on another video how that went. I'll go into more information about my channel, but at the man Victor Golden's house, I exposed some information. So he was a man that I had met at the West End, and I met a few guys around that area, knowing that I was already being set up from the jail after the shooting. I knew what was going on, and so here I was being denied the right to actually be in the shelter in Atlanta as a woman, going through what I'm going through and having to go with another man to a location where I knew what their agenda was. And I exposed information about Nicki Minaj. Now, as you guys know, this woman is a millionaire, and I also exposed some information about my family, and it involved a death ritual dance. So, anybody knows anything about rituals or anything about witchcraft, and you know that it involves wickedness. So when I was in the jail, I needed people to come forward with the truth about the information about me being with child in the jail, and about Austin actually being an abusive white male that was abusing me. And these women were doing witchcraft on me instead of helping out from the outside. So the situation happened in Conroe, Texas, and it spread all over the country because there was a shooting, and there were people who found out about the information, and of course he is white. So the information spread around, and instead of my family being there for me, they were doing witchcraft. And instead of Nicki Minaj minding her business about something that didn't have anything to do with her, and it's a pregnant black woman that was protecting herself and her little boy, she's doing witchcraft on me. And so I had exposed the information while I was at Victor Golden's house, and the reason why I did it was because this was another man that I had just met, and like I said, it happened in Conroe, Texas, but they wouldn't let me into the shelter, so I came to Atlanta, and I didn't have any charges because these people were going to try to cover up all the information and just have me killed and be done with the situation. And I made it out of the cell in Houston, not really trying to help out when I went to Houston because I couldn't stay in Conroe, Texas, where they tried to kill me and the baby and lie about the case and lie about evidence and take my son, who I was protecting. And of course, I wasn't guilty for the charges, but they were being racist. And all of these people all over the country and my family knew what they were trying to do to me and the baby in Conroe, Texas. And so I fled to Houston, and then Houston was trying to do it. And so I came to Arkansas, tried to go with family, and they tried to set me up. And so I came to Atlanta, Georgia, and went to the Salvation Army, and they knew about my case. I was already on social media. I'll explain my channel to you guys on another video coming up. But as far as how I ended up at this guy's house was because they put me out of the shelter, and then they made me go with a man named Marcus Mitchell. Then they made me go with a man named Bruce White. Then they just kind of transitioned me from person to person. And I needed to get the information out because I knew that I wasn't being properly taken care of, like as far as even myself, and I needed the help, and that they were trying to set me up. So there's a satanic group and covenant people that pretty much worship white people in this country, and that's how a lot of black people get ahead, and they're going to automatically take their side and then try to hurt the black person. Like, that's just their mentality. They don't really understand the things of God, or they really do have understanding for it, but they don't respect it. I'll just put it that way, and take a liking to doing evil. So I told the truth by this point because I had been trafficked pretty much to too many different locations, knowing the evidence to my case and what people were trying to do, and I wasn't trying to lose. So I was like, they had me with a man, and I'll explain a little bit later on about what was going on there, but of course, just trying to cover up the evidence and have me in an environment that'll make me look a certain way. And so I'll go into that on another video as well, about explaining my channel, because this is not the full length of my channel. This is just explaining a certain segment or certain part of my channel. So I had stayed at a man named Victor's Golden's house, and he was in his sister's home, and they were trying to pull bullshit. And I just started telling everything, and I didn't have enough time to even add titles to the videos because people were trying to have me in a location where my videos would not load. And I knew why they had did what all they had did to me in Atlanta, what they were trying to cover up. And in case something did happen to me, I wanted the information to be on my channel regardless of how it made me look. I was like, I don't care how they're making me look. So after I exposed that information about her doing a death ritual dance while I was in the jail, so you're going to sit there and dance for Satan while they trying to kill a pregnant black woman for protecting herself, and they took a little boy and threatened to rape him and setting her up on the streets, now that she's out of jail, and she was trying to get medical care. So now I went through hurrying up and making as many videos as I could, explaining the information that I wanted to be out there, in case something did happen to me. Because when people trying to make you go from this person to that person, and then what the information they're trying to cover up and how they're trying to make you out to be. Okay, so I wasn't sleeping with a man or anything like that, and he did attempt to sleep with me at the location, and there were men that were trying to sex traffic me heavily around the location when I left to load my videos. And it was in a school zone, and it just seemed like a complete setup, and I needed the information to get out about what my channel was about. And every time I put out the evidence at any location where I was at, even if I was very private, didn't tell the information to the person that I had a channel, I ended up having to leave the location. And so I was leaving the location to load the videos, and they were harassing me as well. And then I was very emotional because I knew that I had held a lot of pain in for a long time, and I ended up leaving the man's house and loaded my videos. But of course I ended up having to leave for good because it wasn't a situation that I needed to be in. And I'll go into a little bit more details about how I left and exactly why I left. But I was outside and I was thinking about the state of my body, and I was like, this really was not that long ago, because I had started losing a lot of hope about the visions that God had shown me. But I saw that the battle is not really lost yet, and I'm not really in a good place. But of course, why should I have had to go from that many places, if someone was not trying to harm me, And so I put out the information about Cynthia and about all this wickedness, about these people who have my son. And when you see something like that about somebody, it's not about because you shot a gun. It's not about because of any of that. It's because the people that you were dealing with were wicked people, And so by this point in Atlanta, this is how they were trying to portray me, because they knew that I had a social media. They knew I was telling on this wicked woman and the people who have my child. And they knew at this point that I was telling about my medical conditions and what they were trying to do. And so at this point, I don't care about what anybody really has to say about these videos. I started adding titles to the videos because I knew how important it was. I said, I know they want me loading videos to just make me look crazy where I can't even tell what the video was about, because I needed people to understand those people were trying to hurt me right then and right there for these people. And I needed the information to be out there, and my channel ended up being removed, and I got it back up and running.